So far this season, I think it's safe to say that it has been a pretty wild season for the New York Rangers, having a good start, an expected start for this team, being one of the better teams in the entire NHL for the first little while to begin the season. Then the Rangers had that terrible long stretch of just awful play, honestly, right up until the start of January, where pretty much on January 1st, the beginning of 2025, it seems like this Rangers team has completely kind of turned things around. And I don't necessarily think that this team is necessarily kind of fixed and they've kind of really fixed all the problems from previous seasons and stuff like that. But I do think this team is kind of maybe more towards kind of back where they've kind of been at that level of, previous seasons, like last season where they were, that President's Trophy team, and the way they're winning and kind of the strengths of the team and the weaknesses are still there from previous seasons. I just think they're, kind of getting the job done now, which is definitely a good thing to see. And obviously the goaltending's been better. I think certain players have definitely taken their steps up, and, the overall team is just kind of clicking a little more and playing better hockey right now, which is good. But like I said, this team is definitely not fixed, and it's not like they're going to be, I would say, a true kind of cup contender this season. I just think they have a decent shot at possibly making playoffs. And that's kind of what we're going to touch on today and kind of talk about is, the Rangers' kind of chances at making the playoffs, and also kind of talk about, how they played and kind of certain players and, which guys have done good, which ones have done bad, the goaltenders and all that kind of stuff as well. And just kind of really talk about this team as a whole, how they played, and whether or not, they have a good chance at possibly making the playoffs. And if we're being honest here, as of late, their chances have definitely gone up and up and up, and they are starting to make a little push towards a top 3 spot in the Metropolitan Division. Now, that's going to be tough to crack that. I mean, it's not going to be easy. The Rangers really set themselves back after, having that long stretch of bad play. But with the kind of wins piling on as of late, the Rangers being 7-0-3 in their last 10 games played, like I said, yes, they're obviously playing much better. Are they fixed and are they a true cup contender? Probably not. I don't think they're necessarily like, a way better team, but I do think that they've obviously started playing, a lot better hockey than what we saw earlier this season, which is exactly what you want to see. Are they a fixed team and a perfect team? No. But are they a much better team than what we kind of saw earlier this season? Absolutely. They're playing much better hockey now. The goaltending's been better. Pretty much everyone is looking like a better player right now. And, there were some players who definitely had some pretty big struggles earlier on. So obviously, it's not completely fixed with certain guys, but I think overall this team is definitely looking better. I mean, 7-0-3 in the last 10 games played. It's obviously a much better than what we saw earlier this season where, this team was going on some pretty big losing streaks and just having some overall pretty terrible run of hockey. But this team, like I said, starting to push back up a little bit towards that top 3 spot in the Metro. So let's take a look here at some standings. And, first off, we'll take a look at the Metropolitan Division. Then we'll take a look at the wild card in the Eastern Conference. So starting off here, though, with the division standings, the Metropolitan Division standings, the Rangers right now, like I said, are really starting to make a push kind of upwards towards a possible top 3 spot. They definitely closed that gap. And right now, they are, as recording this video, in 5th place. Now, this video is being recorded before the games Friday night. There are a few that could have some minor effects on these standings here, but nothing too big. So right now, the Rangers in 5th place in the Metropolitan Division, 48 games played, 52 points. Right behind the 4th place Columbus Blue Jackets, who have one more game played, 1 more point, so the Rangers can obviously jump them with that game in hand. The 3rd place team, which is obviously one of those spots you want to be in, one of the top 3 spots, and the 3rd place team are the New Jersey Devils, who have 50 games played, 60 points. So the Rangers have 2 games in hand and are only 8 points back. So if they won those 2 games in hand, they're only 4 points back, right? So they are actually, still in this race. It's not like a few weeks ago where I really did kind of think it was quite unlikely to happen, but now with the way the Rangers have been playing as of late, they're obviously starting to really pile on the points. They push themselves right back in that race, which is exactly what you want to see. We very well could end up seeing some meaningful hockey down the stretch here, which, as Rangers fans, I think from what we've seen so far this season is kind of a nice thing to say. And now let's take a look here at the wild card standings in the Eastern Conference. And right now in first place in the wild card race, you have the Tampa Bay Lightning, 46 games played, 53 points. Right behind them in second place, the 49 games played Columbus Blue Jackets with 53 points. But then right behind them, the New York Rangers in third place. So just on the outside looking in of a wild card spot, the New York Rangers are 1 point back, but do have a game in hand, which is exactly what you want to see. So if the Rangers win their game in hand there, they'd be 1 point above the Columbus Blue Jackets in that second spot there. But they are currently tied for games played and points with the Ottawa Senators and the Montreal Canadiens, and the Flyers, Wings, Penguins, even Islanders aren't technically too far back. So it's going to be a race there. There are still, almost like 10 teams that are pretty much kind of fighting for these wildcard spots almost. So there are quite a few teams still battling here, but obviously it's going to come down to 2 teams to get those spots there, and also the other kind of 6 teams, the 3 kind of sets of division kind of, top 3 spots as well. So we'll see what happens there with this Rangers team, but they definitely have a serious shot at possibly making the playoffs. And if I had to bet money on it as of this point, and with the way things have been going, I honestly do think that we are going to see this Rangers team get into the playoffs. Now, whether that is a wildcard spot or a Metropolitan Division spot, my guess is more towards a wildcard spot, but I do think that this team is going to make playoffs, which is very nice. But taking a look now at how the team has kind of done in the month of January since the beginning of 2025, how have they done? And I'm going to be honest, they have been quite amazing. This month so far, they have 12 games played, an 8-1-3 record. They have taken 19 out of a total possible 24 points, which is not bad at all. They have 43 goals for, 30 against, a plus 13 goal differential, not bad at all. A 30.8% power play percentage, which is not bad. A 80.6 PK percentage, which, again, not terrible. They have, on average, 29.33 shots per game compared to 29.58 shots against. So not too bad there, but even whereas, in previous times, they've definitely been outshot at moments by a decent amount consistently. So that is nice to see that they're about even for the shots per game. And also, the team save percentage is at .915, which for, a combined for the team is not bad at all. So I think overall, in this month, we have seen the New York Rangers play some really good hockey. They are definitely making a push towards the playoffs, which is exactly what we want to see as Rangers fans. And like I said earlier, I don't think this team is fixed. I don't think that they're going to go on some run and win the Cup this season, and they're a much improved team from last season. But I do think that we have seen some, much better hockey as of late. I don't really think a lot of the problems that we have seen in previous seasons are fixed. I think they're still there for sure, but at least we're seeing some winning hockey. They're back towards their winning ways, which is exactly what you want to see. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not like this is a fixed team, so I wouldn't expect anything too different come playoff time. But I do think that when you have a goaltender like Igor Shesterkin, things can happen. I mean, he can carry you a long ways. We saw what he can do over the last 3 kind of playoff runs there. He has done some wonders for this team. He has stolen multiple games. He has stolen some series. So this is a goalie who can definitely help you move on in the playoffs pretty much all by himself. He can do a big chunk of the work. So that is nice to have a goalie like that, but obviously to win a cup, you probably do need a little bit better of a complete team around that elite goaltender. So hopefully, Chris Drury makes some good moves here. I don't think he's going to be able to kind of fix this team completely at this deadline. That'd be a little too much probably, but I think overall, he'll hopefully make some good moves to the deadline there, kind of put this team in a decent spot come playoff time to hopefully, do something in the playoffs, but also, not mortgage the future there and trade away a bunch of future assets for some rental kind of players, which, will only help us out for the rest of this season, which to me would not be the right move, but there definitely are some kind of buying moves where they go after some young guys, kind of like the Kraken did trading for Kakko, which I definitely would be all for. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content. I do post every single day, so if you are a New York Rangers fan, there's no better place to be on YouTube than this channel. And also, definitely comment down below your thoughts on the New York Rangers team as a whole. I'll catch you in the next one. Let's go, Rangers.